by Wilma. Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is John Mount.
Number 2.
My name is John Mount.
And number 3.
My name is John Mount.
Only one of these people is the real John Mount and has sworn to tell the truth. And now, from Studio 8H in New York City, let's meet our panel. The brisk and breezy Baron of Bel Air, Bill Cullen. 3-time Emmy Award winner, Pat Collins. Host of the American Bandstand, the debonair Dick Clark. And our anchor lady for this session, pretty perky Polly Bergen. And that's our panel. Now, here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Robin Ward.
Panel, one day I'm going to run out and fall flat on my you-know-what.
We're waiting. You're waiting.
It's nice to see you, panel. Let's get right down to the problem presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom have the cheek to claim to be John Mount. And panel, you may open your envelopes and follow along as I read. I, John Mount, ran afoul of the establishment in the 1960s and was expelled from school in the 10th grade for refusing to cut my hair. After several years, I decided to resume my education and was admitted to college without a high school diploma. I made Dean's List my first semester and later received an award for academic excellence and leadership. My attitudes haven't changed much since, but my life has taken an interesting turn. In fact, I'm now a member of the very Board of Education which controls the high school that ejected me. Signed, John Mount. And welcome, gentlemen, and panel. These three gentlemen all claim to be John Mount, who had a hair-raising experience in the 10th grade. And let's start. They're booing already. We just started the show.
The crowd
let's start the questioning with Polly Bergen.
They're booing you, Robin, not us.
No, but you're with me.
We just wanted to establish that. John Mount, number 1. Do they have a dress code in the school that you're on the board of?
No, they don't.
Do they have a hair code on the...
No, presently, no.
No, I see. Number 2, when do they stop having hair codes and dress codes in school?
I don't know, because I was thrown out of high school.
I see. Number 3, when do they stop having hair and dress codes in school?
Oh, I would say about 10 years ago when the world started to appreciate a person for being themselves.
I see. Number 1, how did you get on the Board of Education?
I was appointed by the mayor.
I see. Number 2, how did you...
And we go to Bill Cullen.
Number 2, what do you think are some of the things, the dress codes in school that should be enforced? Are there any dress codes that you believe in enforcing at all, number 2?
Yeah, I don't think hot pants should be worn, and but that's about it.
Number 3, where are you on the school board? In what city?
In Tenafly.
In where?
In Tenafly, New Jersey.
In Tenafly. How many of you are there on the board?
There are 7.
Do you have strict dress codes there?
There are no dress codes.
None at all? You
None whatsoever.
Anywhere you want?
Well, as long as you take a shower, I imagine it'll be okay.
Okay, all right. Number 1, when did you finally decide to cut your hair?
I didn't.
And we go to Pat.
Number 2, in the 60s when you were bounced out of high school, how long was your hair then compared to the way it is now?
It was over my shirt collar.
But not as long as number 1.
No.
And number 3, how long was your hair in the 60s?
It was just a little bit longer than this right now.
Number 1, do you think you can tell a man's personality by the length of his hair, or at least his interests in life?
No, you cannot.
Why did you stick to your guns? Why didn't you cut your hair, stay in school?
My previous education taught me that in America you're supposed to be free, and I believed it.
And number 2, why did you stick to your guns? Why didn't you say, oh, it's no big deal?
I was interested in a girl at the time, and she was more important than the educators.
And she wanted you to have longer hair?
She liked the way I look, and I didn't think it was that long, and Thomas Edison didn't graduate high school, so...
Well, college, thank you, number 2. Number 3, what...
And we go to Dick Clark.
I'd like to go to number 3 and talk about Tenafly. How many members of the Board of Education are there?
There are 9.
How did you get on that board?
I was appointed.
What else did the school have as a beef with you when they threw you out of school?
That was all. They thought I was affecting the rest of the students.
Okay, number 1. I want to ask you the same question. Was lengthy hair the only problem you had then?
It was the reason I was thrown out, but I wasn't a fantastic student.
How on earth did you get into college, number one, without a high school diploma?
I was a special admit. Had to maintain a C average for 24 credits.
Number two, how does your attitude today differ from then? It says here it doesn't. Haven't you matured at all or changed your attitude toward the 60s?
Well, I've matured, but I'm part of the system now, and I have a better idea of what's important.
Number one, how do you make your living?
I'm a lobbyist.
They're ringing the bell. That means time is up. And once again, it's time to vote for number one, for number two, or for number three. Whoever, in your opinion, is the real John Mount. We pay $100 for each incorrect vote, and 4 incorrect votes will give our team of challengers the princely sum of $500. Are the ballots all marked, panel? Polly, who'd you vote for?
Well, I really believe strongly that it's number one. Well, no, I voted for number 3, but I believe strongly that it's number 1. I believe it's number 1 because I don't know, I just do. But number 3, on the other hand, seemed to be the most logical, and he answered all the questions right, except I'm trying to figure out how his hair could get long because it's curly. But I figured maybe it was just bushy.
Okay.
I voted for number 3.
You didn't like number 2 at all.
Number 2, I didn't like it. I think his attitude still needs some work.
And Bill, who got your vote?
Like Polly, Robin, I think it's number 1. But he wouldn't have let his hair grow, and that would be too obvious sitting there. So what I think, he cut his hair just because he decided it would look better that way. He then eventually went completely bald, and this is a wig for the passion play. I voted for number 1.
Boy, these are the most complicated reasons I've ever heard a panel give. Pat, who got your vote?
Well, I voted for number 2 because I think it's possible if you like a girl well enough and she doesn't want your hair cut. That's a good reason. Staying in school is not important, but a girl, that's very important.
That's right. Man's got his priorities straight, absolutely. Dick, who got yours?
It's very simple. It was number 1. He had all the right answers, and he's like he is today because that's the way he was then, and he's a man of high principles.
Okay, now we're going to find out just how simple it is. And we're going to find out who the real long-haired turned board member really is. Will the real John Mount please stand up? Thank you, John. Let's find out who
I get half a vote?
No, you don't,
I
Polly.
get half
You
a
don't
vote.
get anything, period. Let's find out who our imposters are. Number 2, you got yourself a vote. Would you tell us, please, who you are and what you really do?
My name is Michael Fandel, and I'm a professional comic and clown.
And number 3, you got a great head of hair yourself. Would you tell us, please, who you are and what you really do?
I'm glad you noticed. My name is Sidney Goldberg, and I'm a barber, and I cut hair on 69th Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. The name of the shop is called Sidney.
We have a picture of John as he appeared in the 10th grade, and you'll see how revolutionary and weird he really looked. And this is why he got thrown out of school. Just look at your monitor here.
Oh.
You believe that? He could get into the Army with that haircut today.
Yeah, sure.
John, why, I don't mean to be rude, but why have you kept your hair long? Obviously, it's personal preference, but do you make any statement with your hair being this long? You look sort of evangelical with it.
Not really. It's just the only permanent part of my wardrobe, and it's my decision to wear it this way, so I do.
Well, we're glad you took a stand for American liberty in the 10th grade, and we wish you great success. There were 2 incorrect votes. You won yourselves $200. Thank you for joining us on To Tell the Truth, and we'll see 2 of you on one-on-one right after these words. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll return after these messages, so please stay where you are.
913-9719.
We're back, panel, and let's meet our next team of challengers. Coming up.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Marie Snyder.
Number 2.
My name is Marie Snyder.
And number 3.
My name is Marie Snyder.
All right, panel, once again, would you open your envelopes, please, and follow along as I read. I, Marie Snyder, have written a study on how marriage and sex roles are portrayed in comic strips, and the news isn't good. Comics are, and always have been, guilty of blatant chauvinism and stereotyping. A woman, for example, may resemble Archie's vivacious friend Betty while she's single, but marry her off and she turns into Maggie, the unattractive nag from Bringing Up Father. Or take a handsome, competent guy like Flash Gordon down the aisle, and you wind up with a blundering Dagwood Bumstead. What the comic strips tell me is that Americans believe in marriage, but they don't expect it to be very pleasant. Signed, Marie Snyder. And welcome, ladies. Nice to have you here. And panelists, you ladies all claim to be comic strip expert Marie Snyder. Let's start the questioning with Dick Clark.
Number 3, how many comic strips have you looked at in your life?
Oh, gosh. A lot.
Number 2, who's Dagwood's wife? What's her name?
Blondie.
Number 1, what was the cartoonist's name that drew Winnie Winkle?
Oh, my goodness.
Number 2, do you know that answer?
I don't know.
Number 3, do you know
No.
that answer? All right, that solves that. Number 1, who is Superman's girlfriend? Her name?
Superman, that's Lois Lane.
All right, number 2, do you have any idea who Batman's sidekick is?
Robin.
And we go to Polly.
Oh, we do?
Yes, we do.
Oh, all right. Number 3, there is one cartoon where the woman was single for a long time and got married, and they haven't changed the attitudes. Which one is that?
Brenda Starr.
Number 1, who writes Brenda Starr?
Oh, it's a gal. She's been doing it for many years. She's the only woman who's had
Number
a script
2, who
ready.
does
Don't know her
Brenda
name.
Starr?
Don't know her name.
Number 3?
Don't know.
No. Number 1, what is the name of Brenda Starr's boyfriend?
Oh, good Lord, I never got
And we
caught
go
up
to
in
Bill
the
Cullen. You're
trivia.
saved, number 1 by the bell.
We're all equally good at names around here, I noticed. Dick, it was Brenner, wasn't it? Who did Winnie Winkle?
Yes.
Brenner, I think. Anyway, number 1, in Gasoline Alley, the wife was always treated very kindly. Uncle Walt's wife was treated very kindly, and she was drawn as an attractive person. Do you remember her name?
No, I don't.
Do you know who the boy is in Gasoline Alley, number 1?
The only one I remember is Skeezik.
And he is in Gasoline
Alley,
Alley.
and he's the only one
You
that
don't
grew
remember his
up.
mother's name?
No,
She was a
I don't.
sweetheart. Number 2.
I don't.
Now, number 3, you're not going to tell me that you've forgotten.
No.
And we go to Pat Collins.
Number 3, are you married? Number 3,
Yes.
are you married? Yes. And how would you rate your husband on the chauvinism scale? Well, just be careful, he's watching.
Yes. He's not chauvinistic.
No, and how about you, number 1? Are you married? Number
one?
one,
Oh, that's
yes.
me. I'm definitely married, and I am not married to a chauvinist.
No. Number 2, how would you rate Olive Oil in terms of the way she's treated by the men around her?
Considering what olive oil is like, I'd say very well.
That's a great answer. All right.
And number 3, do you think that television, sitcoms in particular, do any better by women than the comic strips that you've evolved your theory about? Number 3.
I would say that they're probably treated the same in most mediums. However, I dealt specifically with comic strips.
Do you think, number 2, that...
Once again, they're ringing that little bell, panel. That means time is up, and now it's time to vote for number 1, for number 2, or for number 3. Whoever, in your opinion, is the real Marie Snyder. And we pay $100 for each incorrect vote. And if our team of challengers completely bamboozle you, they will win $500. Now, the ballot's all marked, panel. Dick, who'd you vote for?
Well, I was trying to catch them all, and I couldn't catch anybody because I've been a comic strip fan for a while. Number 2 looks like she knew the answers, looks like sort of an intellectual type that take a silly subject like this and make something out of it. I know. I'm really concerned about this. I want to find out.
And Polly, who got your vote?
I think I know number 1, but I voted for number 3. If it's number 1, I'll kill him. I obviously don't know her very well.
Okay, Bill, who'd you vote for?
I think it's number 2, and I think the one Pauline knows is her sister, Marie.
Okay, Pat, who got your vote?
I voted for number 2.
Was that wrong, huh?
You may be wrong, Polly.
Oh,
Now we're
but
going to
you
find
might
out,
be
in fact,
right.
which of these people, in fact, has studied marriage
number
in the
1.
comics. Will the real Marie Snyder please stand up? There we go. All right, Polly, take a bow. Definitely a big point for Polly. Polly, congratulations. Let's find out who our imposters are, panel. Number 1, will you tell us, please, who you are and what you really do?
I'm Ellen Dodge Young, and I'm a numerologist.
Oh,
right.
is that how you know her? I know her. Yeah, she did my numbers. She's fabulous.
Yes, yes,
She's just
yeah.
fabulous. But I haven't known her for long. She did my numbers.
As long as you're not a memory expert.
I knew her. I knew her.
So you've got Polly's number.
How about number two?
Number 2, you got 3 votes. You did extremely well. Would you tell us, please, who you are and what you do?
My name is Dale Joan Young, and I work for Hospital Audiences, a group that provides cultural entertainment for handicapped people, and I'm their special events coordinator.
Okay.
Marie, you've done a study. You obviously feel there's kind of sociological importance to the fact that men are portrayed as bumbling idiots and wives as kind of aggressive, obnoxious people. But if we portrayed people in comics as being mature and well-adjusted and with very positive relationships, would that be comic? Would that be funny?
Well, I would suggest that people are portrayed in the comics as they probably are really seen in society. I think they are reflective.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't answer your question exactly, but I don't think it's just comic. I think it's reflective.
Well, there were 3 incorrect votes. You've won yourself $300. I congratulate you. Thank you for joining us on To Tell the Truth, and we'll see 2 of you on one-on-one. Stay where you are. And we'll be back after these words of wisdom, so you stay where you are, please.
Remember when a candy bar used to cost a dime? Nowadays, it seems like you have to use a credit card to pay for just about everything. Unfortunately, credit cards are getting
95511. So call now for free information with absolutely no cost, no obligation on how you can play the smart way. Plus, new members.
Alan Coulter, we are back to play one-on-one. Here are 4 people that you have run across in your lives before. Panel, you remember Ellen and Dale, we couldn't forget you, who pretended to be Marie Snyder, and you remember Michael and Sidney, who were imposters for John Mount. Now, you do know something about these people, but there's one fact about one of them that we have held back until right now. One of these 4 people is also a member of the New York City Police Force, and it's up to you to find out which one. And here's how you go about it. You will each have 20 seconds to question the person sitting directly opposite you. At the end of that time, you'll be asked to cast your vote there and then as to whether that person is a member of New York's finest. And, Bill, are you ready to question Sidney?
I'm ready to question
start
Sidney.
now.
Sidney, what do you do as a member of New York's Finest? What's your rank, in other words?
Well, I work with juveniles, and I try to get them on the right road.
And are you undercover, or do you wear a uniform?
I wear a uniform, and I work out at the 17th Precinct.
And where is the 17th Precinct, Sidney?
It's on 67th Street between 3rd Avenue and Lexington Avenue.
Are you a...
Bill, is Sidney our police officer, yes or no?
No, I do not think Sidney is.
That's a no for Sidney. And Patty, ready to question Michael?
Yes,
then go.
So, Michael, what precinct in New York, real precinct, was Kojak based on, character?
What precinct was that in? I think it was the 10th precinct. I'm not sure.
Who's our police commissioner?
McGuire.
What division are you in? What?
I work police, patrol.
Are you for the 2-man car, or do you think you can get by with a 1-man car patrol?
I prefer two people in the car.
That is Michael, our police officer, yes or no?
Yes.
That's a yes for Michael. And Dick, you ready to question Dale?
Dale, how many females are there on the New York Police Force?
About 218.
How long have you been doing that work?
About 6 months.
Do you carry a gun?
Yes.
What's the most dangerous thing about your work?
Getting mugged.
Do you have any trepidation about being partnered with a male, or would you rather have a female partner?
I'm not a partner. I'm a decoy.
Right, a decoy. I understand that. Oops, okay.
And Dick,
she's a police lady.
That's a yes for Dale.
She's a police officer.
Okay. Now, Polly, you have disqualified yourself and questioned Ellen since she's done your charts. Will a real New York City police officer please stand up? Michael, you are a comic and a clown and a police officer. 3 professions that don't seem to be incredibly kind of...
you don't live in New York long.
Compatible. I guess that's true. They do. Do you kind of try routines on prisoners you're taking in, like a captive audience kind of thing?
Well, when the prisoners are being carried out of the 17th precinct, I tell them, I don't want any more crime now. No more crime, stuff like that.
Was that Jimmy Cagney? I'm not sure. Okay, but you've won $200. Thank you for joining us on One-on-One. It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much. We'll be back after these messages.
nails that break and won't grow? Get Nutrinail. Short, brittle nails grow in just 5 to 7 days. Nutrinail. Short, brittle nails grow.
Trial version absolutely free through this special limited-time TV offer.
That number is 1-800-219-5577.
Dick, do you still read the comics? Do you still read the funny pages?
Not regularly, no.
Who was that comic strip? I never heard of that one that you and Bill knew. What
Winnie Winkle. Winnie Winkle's before your day, Rob.
Yes,
and only
yes.
those of us who've been around since the Stone Age.
We know, yes.
It was before Pat's and my day, too, then.
Yes. Oh, yes, indeed.
You look
Indeed it was.
amazing. For a man in your 70s, I just can't...
That's true.
Which one of us are you looking at?
That's true.
Listen, I'd like to say thank you for joining us on the show. It was a great pleasure once again, and I hope you come back real soon and join us on To Tell the Truth.
He's my uncle, you know.
Courtesy of Kingfisher Syndicate. This is Alan Calder speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Don't touch that remote. Up next, funny man Steve Allen watches a panel of celebrities as they try to separate fact from fiction. I've Got a Secret is next here on Game Show Network.
Well, that's a wrap for our salute to Dick Clark. Hey, Wide World Games won't be seen tomorrow so that we can leave.
Wednesday, Tom faces the biggest crisis of his life.
This has been fire.
And the Bradfords band together to pull him through.
I want you back as a dad.
8 is enough. Then, on Johnny's Angels, Farrah falls for a master thief.
Joe, what's happening to you?
And she's forced to make a choice between the Angels and a life of crime. Then, the script's finest turn to Dan when a killer starts knocking them dead all over Vegas.
Tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on ABC.